Welcome to the SMBU video. Let's go over 5 trade ideas that our newest class came up with before the open and give you some feedback about what I thought of those ideas. And this perhaps will give you a sense of what a professional trader thinks about certain trade ideas. It'll give you some parameters about what's a really good idea and perhaps what's a mediocre idea and what's not a good idea at all. This certainly fits into that bigger, important category of stock selection. As I wrote in One Good Trade, you're only as good as the stocks that you trade. Getting, before the open, the right stocks, choosing the right stocks to trade is important. It takes a little bit of skill. So what our guys do, what our newest guys do, is they write down their best ideas on this Excel sheet and they share it with me and they share it with each other. And then we take a look at it lots of times before open and then during our 11 o'clock trader development meeting. So I picked out 5 ideas and I want to go over them. Google was one of the ideas that one of our newer traders came up with, and she said, I want to trade Google because there's fresh news in it. The news was the EU has accused Google of abusing its dominance for its search engine, for the search engine market. And this was raising the prospects of fines. And so my comment to that was, yes, this is exactly the type of stock you want to trade. The reason you want to trade a stock like this is because this news can significantly change the value of Google. It can change the perception of Google. And let's just sort of think about what might happen if the EU is giving Google a hard time about their search engine processes. So one, there's going to be people at Google, very high level people in Google, who are going to be lots of meetings with lawyers. They're going to be distracted. There could possibly be a change that Google has to make if the EU actually presses hard for the way that their search engine operates. That may cause a competitor to gain a little bit of market share. It may cause Google to be a little bit less influential in certain markets. So I like that idea. I think this is something that could drag the stock down during the short term. I'm not saying it definitely should. I'm saying this news on its face is a good enough idea that I want to dive deeper into whether or not I want to trade that stock. There's a issue here, which is it's an expensive stock, perhaps too expensive for many traders to trade, but this is a good idea. AMAT was another idea that some of the younger guys came up with. And the reason for that was Intel cut its CapEx expenses significantly in their report. And the idea was that the chip makers were going to potentially see some downside pressure. So I like that idea too. This is significant to that sector. This is fresh news. The AMATs, the CLACs, the Novellus, NVLS, the Xilinx, XLNX, those stocks might be under a little bit of pressure. This news in and of itself is worthy of exploration. Bank of America was another idea. Missed on revenue, beats on EPS. My reaction was, who cares? I want to trade stocks. I don't want to trade this on this day. This isn't good enough news for me to think about trading. I want to trade stocks where I get full year guidance, something different about margins, something different about market share, some new product that a company is launching. This isn't enough news to get me interested. Intel, beat on EPS, misses its earnings, cuts CapEx, guiding flat for the full year. We had a little bit of discussion here about margins potentially getting a little bit better. My first reaction to that is, or ARG, do I really have to trade that? I want to only trade a stock this thick if there's special news in it, and I'm not sure that's the special news. And then the last idea that one of our guys came up with, there were more, but that I want to highlight is GoPro. It was upgraded overnight by Piper Jaffray because of widespread adoption of its brand. Yeah, and I think they have some pretty cool products that are coming out. We actually were just talking about playing around with one of their new products. The thing I want to look for in an upgrade is the argument that the analyst is making and how compelling it is. And the way that I think of it, and the way that you might want to think about it is, look, there's going to be research out, and then sales traders are going to take that research and try and sell ideas to institutions and to individuals. When they're on that phone call to an institution, when a sales trader is making a phone call to a desk, that person on the other line of the phone, are they going to find that reason compelling such that they're going to want to make a trade? That individual who gets a call from their broker, when that broker gives them the reasons to buy GoPro, are those reasons compelling enough to make a trade? That's the way I think about upgrades and downgrades. The other thing about upgrades and downgrades is that there are people, there are analysts in the marketplace who are particularly good, who have lots of sway on the market overall. Is this one of them? And then certainly multiple upgrades of a particular company can get the ball rolling in a particular stock. Those were 5 ideas from this morning. That was my reaction to them. Perhaps we'll do this again in a couple of months, but I hope that gives you a little bit of a better feel about how we think about picking stocks, our reaction to opportunities, and helps you take a little bit of a step further in your stock selection process. Talk to you soon.